My expectations for horror anime have always been really low. I mean, the scariest thing to come out of anime most of the time is the fear of a terrible second season. You're always just a little bit on edge, worrying whether the next season will make your week or will make for good toilet paper. Blue Lock, The Promised Neverland, you name it, someone's always there to ruin it. Also, I've always thought that if 3D ghosts don't scare me, how can a 2D pixelated version of the same generic rehashed trope do anything? Ghosts, curses, Pokemon, the Demon Lord being reincarnated as a giant space dildo and inserting himself into a pigtail tsundere, nothing surprises or scares me anymore. Then my friend told me to go watch another generic horror show with another set of generic plot points with another evening of me not being scared. And my honest reaction to this show? It scared the fucking shit out of me. Look, before you start heading off thinking I'm a pussy bitch living in someone's basement who's scared of the dark, I'm really not lying to you, because the basement thing is true. Can you believe there's a horror anime out there with no jump scares that can make you feel like you're being stalked by Tokyo Ghoul's most down bad weirdo? The world of another is darker than my future. Every single aspect of this show is made to send chills down your spine, and man, they do it well. You know how lots of popular anime today have cute characters that exist to fill the void in your empty heart and also make you want to commit cardinal sins at the same time? Well, there's none of that here. From the get-go, the suspenseful tone is set, the mood is broody, and the characters are unlovable. You can call this negativity the anime. You're going to want to double check under your bed after watching this one, because just like how you're watching this without being subscribed, someone could be under your bed without you knowing. Please subscribe. The plot starts off with the protagonist Koichi transferring to a middle school and realizing something is off. A strange cute girl is being ignored by her classmates because the students were retarded and summoned a dead person back into the class because they missed them. Guys, if you don't want to end up in these situations, maybe just don't do stupid nonsense. Okay, so the deeper plot is that Classroom 3 had a student that everyone liked, but he died, and because the class couldn't accept it, they acted as if he was still alive, making his spirit join the classroom. But now, since the dead can't join the living, they need to pretend that one person in the class doesn't exist, or else the curse will start killing everyone, including the family members of the students. Of course, as usual, the protagonist is more interested in getting a hand job than giving the classroom a hand by participating in the con job, so he fucks everything up by not ignoring Mei. Can anyone really blame him though? Then we get a full, grotesque, R-rated Final Destination style mass killing galore. Okay, we can all agree that most characters in horror, anime or not, are just plain stupid, and that's not an exception here. If I had $1 for every time characters in horror movies made intelligent decisions, I would be in debt. Like, guys, I get if you can't move on from your classmate's death, but for fuck's sake, was that really your coping mechanism? This girl found out the hard way that maybe therapy would have been a cheaper option. I know no one asked what makes this show scary, but I'll tell you anyway. First is the extreme gore. The interesting thing about the gore is that the entire episode will have a dark, sinister vibe, and then suddenly there will be a fountain of blood being sprayed all over the students in the classroom like it's the fucking color splash of the Wiggles, except a little more watchable because you don't want to punch any of the characters in the face. God, why am I hating on a kids show? The gore in this anime is mad uncomfortable with a slight bit of satisfaction involved, and I gotta give props to the animators. They spent a lot of time dedicating to perfecting the art of the gore, and even the least disgust sensitive person will appreciate the effort by hurling their lunch into the nearest bathroom. Just in case anyone wanted to know, this is not a kid's show. The gore was wild, but you know what creeped me out the most? How grotesquely, implausibly, uniquely the Final Destination type deaths occurred. I mean, this is not just a pipe blowing off the back of a car and into your windshield, right into your ugly mother-in-law's face. Some of these deaths clearly play into your worst fears. You ever wonder when walking into an elevator, what if this machine just collapses and I faceplant onto the ground but save myself by jumping at the last second before impact? We'll see how well that worked out for this girl. Or how about when it's a thunderstorm and you wonder, man, out of all of the people here, surely I'm not the one that gets hit by lightning today. This is a real fear of mine. The gore combined with the anime playing on your real strange fears that you thought would never come true but actually do, elevate the show to a horror more disturbing than Riverdale's acid trip of a story. Let's not forget the best thing of all, the fact that the MC looks like a hentai protagonist. Seriously, am I the only one that thinks this? I swear I've seen this guy in a bunch of other shows on the platform that rhymes with Braven. This dude jumps multiverses more than Spider-Man does. The thing that sets this show apart is how successfully they've created the dark atmosphere. Every single scene, even the most normal ones, are bone-chilling. There's something creepy about the design. It's the feeling you get thinking that something bad's gonna happen now or now or now. The characters just look killable and the music worsens your tension. The people who thought this show was boring aren't exactly wrong, they just don't have eyes, and that's okay. Look, I can understand if you didn't find the show fascinating because you came here looking for action or jump scares every 2 seconds, but got a slow dreaded burn instead. But this anime is not for that audience. Believe me, there are plenty of shows which will give you those things if that's what you're looking for. Just know that this will not. Which one scares you more and for how long? A jump scare or two might get you in the moment but will leave you soon enough. If you truly get invested in the show, it stays with you for a really long time. There's no doubt that this anime is also a psychological thriller. The thrill that comes from waiting for the MC to lower his hair over his eyes gets me going more than the thrill of waiting to see Ash finally grow up. Yeah, I guess the disturbing images are pretty thrilling too. Another thing that sets the show apart from traditional horror anime is that it's actually so far away from the traditional horror tropes that we're familiar with that many debate whether it's actually a mystery or a psychological thriller. That sounded stupid as it came out of my mouth, so let me try that again. Traditional horror genres, anime or not, tend to focus on scaring the audience rather than solving a problem. Sure, there's usually a goal at the end, but the whole journey is more important than the destination nonsense that I told myself as I failed my maths exam really applies to normal horror shows. In a zombie or vampire show, we know you need to get to a refuge, and even other shows like Bird Box, Smile, Pennywise the Pedo Clown, the main point is not to get to the end. It's to see how and if they get to the end, with tremendous emphasis on the clash between the attackers and the victims. This show has much more of a focus on the mystery. What is the curse? Why does it exist? Why is everyone ignoring the eye patch girl? What the fuck is a hentai MC doing in a horror mystery? Okay, I'll start with that one now. I just can't stop seeing it. Many people thought it wasn't appropriate to call it a horror. Others continue to debate till this day whether it's a psychological, a mystery, or a psychological mystery with horror elements. My question really is, why the fuck do these people care so much? I mean seriously, it's a show that keeps you on the edge of your seat, making you feel tense all the time, disturbing you constantly with the music and keeping you hooked on the questions and mysteries non-stop. Always remember that if a show is making you question yourself, it's done its job. The worst shows are the ones that no one remembers, or ones where everyone wants to forget everything. Look, I want to be real here. Horror generally does not do well in anime, or rather we haven't tried enough horror to be good at it yet. Animations generally scare us a lot less than real life 3D designs do, but I think there's a lot of untapped potential in this genre that we just haven't explored yet, and it makes sense why. Someone remaking the same isekai tropes with a few or sometimes almost no differences will suck us viewers in with more vigor than Lana Rhoades at her doctor's appointment, and I've always wondered that if her kid can be a blend of all the different races and ethnicities in the world, putting even Martin Luther King Jr. to shame, why can't we create a beautiful blend of horror, strong animation, a well thought through storyline, and a captivating eerie music scene? Maybe the onus is on us as the audience to give more love to genuinely good horror content creators, which is one of the reasons why I'm making this video. You know how in many horror shows there's a couple of scenes that stay etched in your brain after you finish it? Well, for me, that was the elevator scene. I talked about this before, and even if you haven't seen the show, girl plus horror plus elevator is an equation everyone intuitively understands. I literally avoided every elevator in a 200-kilometer radius for a whole week after I saw that bullshit. I can't explain it. It's not like I'm fiddling at my table worrying about an elevator haunting me down, but just something deep inside me saw an elevator and thought, today's a good day to work out my legs. And I did it more than once. Go ahead, call me a pussy if you want to. I'm calling myself worse things for being scared of a small metal box that moves by itself and could lock you in forever without any oxygen or water. But after a week of cardio, my body decided that dying in a metal box where no one can see you is better than dying on the stairs where everyone can. As I'm saying this, I'm slowly realizing that this anime might actually be even better than the credit I'm giving it. I remember watching Shiki, and despite hating vampire shows, I loved the way that they handled the dead versus living dilemma, as well as the genuinely horrifying imagery, and I have to admit, the ending was extremely satisfying. That's the same vibe I get with Another. These types of animes might not reach the broadest audience, but the people that watch it really do enjoy it. The twists and turns throughout the entire show, as well as intelligent writing that connects the different plot points, lead to a deeply interesting story. If you're the kind of sicko like me who enjoys watching scary stuff before sleep, knowing it's going to keep you awake all night, then first of all, we both need therapy, and second of all, give this a shot. You lose nothing, except your time, energy, sleep, and sense of security, all things which a true horror fan would gladly throw away. You know how in gambling there's the phrase, you're only one win away from making it big, don't quit yet? Well, in horror there should be the phrase, if it makes you cry, shiver, lose sleep, and frighten you to death, you have no right to quit yet. You know, maybe there's something really wrong with me. And for the last time, that's a fucking hentai protagonist. Till next time.